Okay, I'm trying to learn how to configure routers. So I might got one too many switches in here, but I'm only running 2 computers per switch, but that's because I'm, routing it around the room here. Yeah, I could probably just run the cable, but I don't know on this program how to run the cable. So I just added switches to each two. That was a personal choice. So we have a router here, and coming in from the router, just say we're using the cloud. We get the router. We've got a switch here. So I know it seems a little bit. Well, you could probably run 2 PCs from this switch. Run this one from the router. I'm debating on that one. Anyway, but just to try to format it around this office setting. So I have the router. I'm going to have a wireless access point here feeding out because we're going to assume that's a smart TV. And then any clients that are here, have their, pads or their laptops or their phones to feed off of it. So you get the router here, you get your switch. So I'm running this from the router and this one from the switch. I'm connecting this one to this switch over here to run these two. If that's an IP phone, which I may make it an IP phone, just right now I'm just running analog phones, standard phones, but I might do IP phones because everything on networking is like that here. So we've got the router, the wireless access point for the smart TV and people with their devices. We've got the switch here to feed this, to connect over here to feed these two. I put this one in the corner to feed these two. Feed. All right, so now we're going to try to configure a router and some IPs, or some of these. I'll go ahead and start over here just to demonstrate what I'm learning. Here, we're going to go to desktop, IP configuration. We'll try it, but I don't think we have a server here, so this is going to be a big fat fail. Then it's probably going to use something else, an APIP, if you will, right? It's probably going to be failed because we don't have a DHCP server. I did this the other day and it said, but let's go ahead and just run it static. We'll go 92.1.10 here, right? We'll ping them later, all right? So here's subnet mask. I'm working with that default gateway I haven't put in there yet. I'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, that was 110. Let's give this one again. Desktop IP configuration. We'll run it static. 192.168.1.20. Same gig. All right. No authentication yet. We're getting there. Okay, we got to make sure it's on. Zoom in. Oh, now it's on. Give it a second to boot. We've got handles 12 Concerto Grossi, which means great concert, but the idea is that it's a small group performing against a larger group. Small group in classical music is called the concertino. The larger group is called the ripieno, which literally means the stuffing. It's to create a contrast of volume. And a handle will usually start out with kind of this epic opening with this kind of dotted rhythm, and then he goes into this fugue. Not as complex as Bach's fugues, but right. So we're looking really good over here, and I will check on these later, okay? So we're gonna go to the Cly. The reason I call that the Cly is I made all these rock songs that taught me the fundamentals, and when it was with AI, and it was like, open the Cly. CLI, command line interface, but it's much more fun to sing, open the Cly. So we open the Cly. Now, return. How do we start? Router, okay, so enable router, config turn router. There we go. Okay. Now I'm trying to remember where we go with there. So we're going to cheat a little bit because cheating is how we learn. Let's open this bad boy up. And I stole this from online. This is my old musicology and vocal teacher said, if you don't learn something, know something, because you're not going to know everything, learn how to find it. A lot easier to do with ChatGPT and Google these days, but I don't want to totally rely on that. I want to have some knowledge of my own. Okay. Enable pass, that's password. User. Let's try this. So enable pass, enable password, and then whatever the password is. Username ABC pass. It's a lot of time from the console, but let's do it anyway. That's how we're going to learn. See if I can remember that. Complete command, what did I miss? I put enable pass. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. Oh. I'm doing exactly what it says. Okay, I'll have to look that up. I'm supposed to be learning how to do a password. Let's see what we got so far. Enable pass, baby. All right, hold on. All right, I'm trying to learn these commands. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at that because I'm reading what it says. And if you look right here, what he's got here, this is how we learn. Router, and did all that. One per line, got their host name, got their configuration. But once I get down to enable pass, it's incomplete. It's not allowing me to put that in, and it looked like wizardry on his video. So I will come back to this in a bit. I think I'm going to call it a night and pick it up tomorrow, or we'll build more networks. We can build more networks, and my biggest thing is configuring these routers. Once I get those routers configured with these commands on the CLI, so I know how to static and dynamically put in the stuff. I need to work on subnetting on the end user devices, but these routers, I got to play around with these routers. We will get this, children. We will get this. Look how dedicated I am. Basic 12, right? Topologies, packet labs, packet tracers, CCNA study guides. practice topologies. These I built. These I actually built. Others I stole online, and others that came from Cisco GNS projects, which I haven't worked with a whole lot. But this is something I found I do in the middle of the night. I really enjoy this. All right. I might build some more topologies here in a minute. I got about another hour on the handle.